Do you find that when you're pounding Polar, your hand gets freezing cold from how incredibly thirst-quenching this drink is? I thought so. So now, we here at Zack the Ripper Comics have developed a solution so you can pound your Polar and not have your hands cold. And that solution? The official Zack the Ripper Comics Polar Mug. Welcome back, everybody. Professional wrestler, comic book collector, video game enthusiast, Zack the Ripper Comics here. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the key books, the key comic books that you should be picking up this Wednesday on October 28th. If you're going to buy any books whatsoever, the following 11 books this week are the ones that I would suggest. Without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start with Marvel this week, as they do have a cornucopia of books releasing, none of which I am the least bit interested in besides the two True Believers titles. Again, these are always $1, cover price of $1, so you cannot go wrong with them. And this week we have True Believers, Black Widow and the Thing #1. This was originally supposed to be coinciding with the Black Widow movie, which obviously due to the pandemic has been pushed back indefinitely at this time. This is a reprinting of Marvel 2-in-1 #10, the 1974 volume. The next True Believers book is Black Widow, Yelena Belova #1, again originally supposed to be tying into the new movie. The original print of this book was Black Widow #1 in 1999. We're going to go to Boom Studios next for a title that's near and dear to my heart. I'm extremely nostalgic for the main character. This is Mega Man Fully Loaded #3, with a synopsis as follows. Mega Man fears he is not strong enough to protect Silicon City after he learns of a plot for a new robot uprising led by Skullman and a shocking ally. But can Mega Man trust Dr. Wily's offer to make him the upgraded hero Silicon City needs? These Mega Man books have a cover price of $4.99 for this variant. It's most likely going to be a foil hardstock cover, thus the $4.99 price point, as I believe, and I could be wrong, let me know in the comments below, as I believe that the cover A's are normally $3.99. Now, I've read the first two issues and they are fantastic. If you're even remotely a sci-fi fan or a Mega Man fan from the old NES, Super NES, Game Boy Advance, all of that, up to the current day's generation of the Mega Man games that never cease to amaze me. From Image Comics, we have what I am calling the cover of the week. Hands down, this is a fantastic tribute to Marvel's Black Panther, but to Chadwick, who passed away unfortunately just about a month ago as of recording this. Horrible, sad situation. The man made Black Panther a household name because Black Panther was not at all even remotely on anybody's radar before he portrayed him in the Avengers movies and the standalone Black Panther movie. This is Spawn #311, the cover B variant, drawn by the great Todd McFarlane himself, featuring an unmasked Spawn on the cover in the Black Panther pose. And if you're not at all remotely familiar with Spawn, Spawn was one of the first mainstream black superheroes in comic books. When Spawn was revealed in the early 90s, once unmasked, that he was going to be an African-American black superhero in modern day comics at that time, this caused an uproar as many people didn't believe that the character could be successful if he wasn't of Caucasian skin color. Now, obviously, Image Comics and more importantly, Todd McFarlane proved everybody wrong. Spawn has been around now for 311 issues, which is absolutely fantastic. This cover is phenomenal and has a retail cover value of $2.99, which you're not going to get anywhere else. This is unbeatable. It's a no-brainer. Please go support this, as it's for a great cause. It's time for the weekly Blow Your Load segment, as this week it comes to us from DC Comics, starting off with Batgirl issue #50. We're going to be looking at cover A, which is an absolutely beautiful cover. If you've been following the Joker War storyline, this is a Joker War Fallout tie-in edition, but the reason we're putting this on the list, not just because of the beautiful cover, not just because of the tie-in to the Joker War, this is the final issue of Batgirl. It's culminating with #50, as DC Comics recently announced a barrage of titles that they will be canceling, this unfortunately being one of them. It has a synopsis as follows. The series finale, All Good Things Must Come to an End, as we wrap up this run of Batgirl with one final oversized celebratory issue. In the aftermath of the Joker War, Gotham is left in pieces that need to be picked up by Barbara and Aleo's team. But is Gotham City worth saving anymore, and how much longer does our girl have it in her to keep fighting for it as Batgirl? Then, if Barbara is ever going to give her relationship with Jason Todd a chance, she knows that she has to face him and finally make amends with the act that crippled him. And because this is the final issue and it is oversized, it does have a cover price of $5.99, which you might balk at first, but given the recent books released by both Marvel and DC with cover prices of $8.99 and $9.99, I'm completely okay with paying $5.99 for an oversized issue of Batgirl number 50. Another book that DC has announced canceling is the Batman Beyond series, which I'm not really understanding why, as Batman Beyond just in the past 2 years has picked up a huge following with the Blu-ray sales and the recently rumored HBO Max series featuring Batman Beyond himself, Terry McGinnis, set in a future world with the rumored Michael Keaton to be playing Batman and older Bruce Wayne in the future. This is issue number 48. We are just 2 issues away from the finale of Batman Beyond. And the reason I have this book on here this week is that anything that's ending like a Batman Beyond, I would definitely recommend picking up the last few issues, as they probably will have lower print runs and thus, which is the point of this entire series I'm doing, be worth more money in the future. And this specific issue features Batman Beyond of the future going back in time by way of Booster Gold to meet and encounter and even fight our Bruce Wayne, our Batman, with a synopsis as follows. First contact begins. Something is very, very wrong with Bruce Wayne as he lashes out in anger and tries to kill Batman Beyond. Who else can save him but Booster Gold? The greatest hero history never knew is going to take Batman Beyond back in time to the Gotham of old, where Bruce Wayne is Batman, which means Batman and Batman Beyond will meet at last. This book has a cover price of $3.99. Batman 3 Jokers number 3 is up next. This is issue number 3 in the 3 series book. This one is going to have about 328 different covers to choose from. Really out of hand. Just buy the one that you like. Personally, I'm a fan of the cover A, which I'm going to be showing you here on the screen, and I'm also a fan of the Red Hood cover. There's a ton of them. Some of them are really expensive incentive covers that I actually don't recommend. I don't think anybody should be paying that kind of money, upwards of $50, for a brand new book that's not even out on the market yet. However, the DC Black Label series that puts out the 3 Jokers books has been really good, and this book has a synopsis as follows. It's the final chapter of the most terrifying and personal Batman mystery ever. Still reeling from their last encounter with the 3 Jokers, Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood discover the terrible truth about the 3 Jokers plot. Will the Caped Crusaders have the strength needed to put an end to the maniacal menace's master plan once and for all, or will it be lights out for good? You won't want to miss the stunning conclusion of Batman 3 Jokers as it completes its trajectory as the ultimate examination of the Joker and his never-ending conflict with the Batman. This has a cover price of $6.99, which is normal for the DC Black Label books, as they tend to be thicker, tend to be bigger, and tend to... That's what she said. And tend to have more mature content. The past couple weeks I've been talking about the Death Metal series. Now we have Death Metal Dark Knight's Rise of the New God number 1. It's a one-shot, so you buy this issue, you get the story, that's that. You don't need to worry about continuing the series or anything of that nature. This is going to have a synopsis as follows. Batman always wins. This irrevocable truth resonates to the very heart of Perpetua's battle with the Batman who laughs. And when her ally reveals his absolute nature, she will upend his mantra and destroy the last planet, his planet. But that's not enough. And the mother of all creation must wonder, if power lies in destruction, why would she ever stop? But that's the thing about truth. When it turns to fact, there's no disputing its godlike reverence, and so enters the darkest night. Featuring a backup story that spins out of a cliffhanger from Dark Knight's Death Metal Multiverse's End, number 1. Say that 10 times fast. The Death Metal books do carry a price point of $5.99. Detective Comics issue 1029 features the debut and the cover debut of a new villain called the Mirror. I chose cover A, the cheaper of the couple covers, because this one features the Mirror sitting in front of a trophy wall of all the Batverse character masks. I thought it was pretty cool. Anytime you get a new villain or a new hero in the DC universe, and especially when they're put on the cover, you're going to want to pick this up, as you never know what can happen in the future as far as the value of that book. And it has a synopsis as follows. After the city of Bane, the Riddlers take over the Joker War and more, the people of Gotham have had enough. The world is changing for Bruce Wayne, and the question he must ask himself: what role does Batman have in a city that rejects him? As the year barrels forward into what will become a turning point for the Dark Knight, Batman must grapple with the very citizens he has sworn to protect. While a familiar face looms large as a new threat on the horizon: Damian Wayne. This book has a cover price of $3.99. Red Hood Outlaw number 50 is next, written by Scott Lobdell. Scott Lobdell has been on the Red Hood titles for 9 years now. Now, there's been different volumes, but for 9 years, he has been doing Red Hood. He has been doing a fantastic job as Red Hood, and this is his final issue on the series. There's no exact word yet on if they're going to renumber the series going forward, if it's going to be a new volume, or if there's just going to be a writer continuing the current story. And this book has a synopsis as follows. Jason Todd's downward spiral began when he was murdered by the Joker. But deep in his heart, he blamed himself for charging headfirst into deadly danger. His rage and self-loathing caused him to lash out at those around him, keeping friends and family alike at arm's length. Until the Outlaws, first Arsenal and Starfire, and later Artemis and Bizarro, saw through his defenses. Now it's time to pay it forward from the one person who represents all the mistakes he's made in his own life, Duella Dent. But can he save the Joker's daughter when he couldn't even save himself? Don't miss the end of the Outlaw era. With this being an oversized ending to the series, it has a cover price of $5.99. Now, I know all of you out there are waiting for my pick of the week, the book that if you're going to buy any one title this week, I recommend this one. But before we do that, please don't forget to drop a huge Con Air elbow drop on that thumbs up button. Hit the bell because you want to be notified whenever I go live or have new video content. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as it goes a long way in the future content that we produce at Zack the Ripper Comics. And without further ado, my pick of the week. This week from IDW Comics, we're going to choose The Last Ronin #1. Now, if you're not familiar with that title, as you'll see on the screen, it features a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and it is a book stemming out of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book set into the future, a dystopian, post-apocalyptic future in which only one of the 4 turtles has survived. We don't know which of these turtles it is, and this book has a synopsis as follows. Springing from the minds of TMNT co-creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird comes an epic like you've never seen before. In a future New York City far different than the one we know today, a lone surviving turtle goes on a seemingly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. Kinetic layouts from Eastman, moody inks from Andy Kuhn, and a thrilling script full of surprises from longtime TMNT scribe Tom Waltz all combined to make this one of the most memorable TMNT stories you will ever read. Oversized in both format and page count, this is the perennial TMN tale that can't be missed. Now, as the description said, it is oversized, so it does carry a cover price of $8.99, and there are a barrage of covers, many of which are already on third-party markets for really high values. I suggest if you're going to buy one book this week, if you're only going to invest $10 this entire week, please buy this book. This book is going to be huge. This book is going to dictate, in my opinion, the future of TMNT as a whole in relation to animation and movies. And please keep in mind that most comic book stores, most online comic book stores also, are limiting this book to one purchase per customer. That's the show, folks. Did I leave anything out that you think should have been in this video? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to thank my patrons on Patreon for supporting this channel, pledging to the channel. It goes a long way. For everybody liking us on Facebook, finding us on Instagram, hitting up that amazing eBay store for all of your comic book needs, visiting the Teespring store that's in the description below for any Zack the Ripper Comics merchandise. And last but not least, liking this video and subscribing to the channel, as we are quickly approaching our huge goal of 1,000 subscribers. Until next time.